Estimated 10 to 20% of the population suffers from a mild winter seasonal affective disorder, or the acronym SAD, and nearly 5% suffer from a more severe form of the disorder. That, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. With clocks officially falling back in the fall, less sunlight, Dr. Whitney Hardy from Ochsner Health is joining us with more on SAD, and I guess that's a perfect name for what this is and how it affects people.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be very severe, a form of even depression that is associated with the decrease in light that we get from the fall and the winter months. That decrease does affect certain chemicals in your brain that regulate sleep and then your overall ability to continue to have an uplifted mood.
And why does it affect some people a lot more than others?
That's a good question. Particularly women are more vulnerable to seasonal affective disorder, and then other people that already struggle with anxiety and depression are more likely to have problems with that decrease in light.
And has it gotten worse during the pandemic, or have they done studies on that to find out?
So far, not seeing any studies about if the pandemic has had a negative impact on it, but I would imagine so, just based on, what we know about depression disorders and the fact that with the pandemic, you can't do a lot of those social activities that you used to do to cope.
I assume that all of us have had some kind of mental health issue because of the pandemic. I mean, we were all, inside for the longest time, and I mean, it's played on all of our minds.
That you're absolutely right. We do know that people that live in countries that are colder and have less light have a higher risk. So I can only imagine that no matter where you're living, if you can't get out, you can't get exposed to sunlight, then you are going to struggle with this condition.
And how do you know if you have SAD or SAD?
Sure. So you would have some symptoms of, feeling more depressed, having trouble focusing, not feeling like you want to go out and do those things that normally bring you joy. You may have increased cravings for carbohydrates, which may lead to some weight gain. So those are some very common symptoms.
And are there things you can do about it? I mean, do you need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or, I mean, what do you do for it?
So first you want to talk to your doctor, but some treatments that we found helpful are light therapy. And, your doctor can help you determine how much light, or if you have other high-risk conditions like diabetic retinopathy, migraines, or things where being exposed to bright light can cause a trigger. If light therapy alone does not help, then of course there's always counseling, and in some cases we will prescribe medication to help get you through the fall and winter months.
And we were saying like about 5% have really severe symptoms from SAD. Can this lead to longer or more deep depression?
So typically these symptoms will resolve once we get through the winter, so you don't have a higher risk of having a longer term depression, but people that have had depression in the past are more prone to getting SAD.
Okay, all right, we appreciate that. And a lot of people don't even realize it's happening, but it does happen to so many people.
Absolutely. So I would just say, definitely when we're in the fall and winter months, pay attention to if you start having those signs of depression, because SAD is often underdiagnosed. So then that would be a good time to talk to your doctor, and we can correlate, well, does this only happen to you, when daylight savings time happens, or does this only happen to you when, the days start to change? And then we can come up with some strategies to prevent it from happening the next season.
All right, Dr. Hardy, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Sure.